To become the master of your destiny, you must master your mind, for everything in your reality is a mental creation. This is Into the Mystic. I am Teresa Hanhiae Bombino.
And this is Erika Eclipse.
In this episode, Erika and I will discuss spiritual connections, how to shift your relationships to a higher level of consciousness, divine love, astral connections, the power of celibacy, what is a spiritual celebrity, and is it possible for an angel and a demon to fall in love? I have received many channeled messages. Stay tuned.
Thank you for tuning in to our second episode. We are diving deeper. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to hear episode 1, you're gonna want to have a listen. We'll be making connections. Thanks to Teresa's angelic team, spiritual guides, and her channeled messages coming direct from the Galactic Federation, in episode 1, we showed you what's behind the lens of the world of angels, demons, and the Stargate portals.
This episode is dedicated to the Galactic Federation of Light. The one you may identify with who's currently in human form is but a speck of vastness of who you truly are. A raindrop in the ocean, or as Sufi mystics say, you are the ocean in the drop. To understand who you truly are, you need to understand that you are part of this vastness of all that is in multiple expressions and forms existing in different realms simultaneously. There are aspects of you that are pure light, tonal that may seem alien depending on which realm or dimension they exist in. When you connect with your galactic multiple self, you will feel a deep sense of belonging that cannot be fabricated. And if you open yourself up to receive love, you will feel the all-encompassing, unconditional love that feels for you beyond human intelligence. This higher aspect of you is a master vibration, an alchemical process in love in its purest form. The expansion of your higher galactic master avatar connects and communicates with your galactic family of light. We are committed to serve you in other realms while you play out your role here on Earth. This galactic self is eternal and infinite and is capable to change form through pure willpower. And so it also is instrumental in the creation of your current human form. This is why some of us have never felt human, because we are connected to our galactic self, playing out in multiple forms in this quantum universe. The expansion of our higher galactic mind is open and connected to our galactic family of light, who continuously telepathically communicate with us. We all have a galactic mind and connect globally with universal meditation. There are higher dimension entities, higher intelligence from all over the universe, and multiple galaxies that connect with us. When we meditate through galactic meditation, we activate our true higher density DNA codes and call upon knowledge and abilities. There are things that we see because our connection to Source and the conscious mind allows us to remember. It will be remembered as a beautiful explosion of energy, understanding knowledge, and an expansion of love, which awakens us through the heart to these multiple planets and galaxies. We save planets, and you came here for a reason, by your own free will, to be of service to the planet, to go through the veiling, and now for one reason or the other, you have been led here, and now because the call was set long ago, it's time to activate your true DNA programming to the new Earth. There are star seeds that come together from all galaxies to connect with you. Through meditation, we fully activate the quantum star seeds that was planned long before we started this journey. Imagine you're sitting at a big round table and there are galactic forces that are aspect of your galactic self, like multiple expressions and different aspects of yourself in its purest form. You are connected to these light particles, and these galactic forces are holding this energy for you. And now you have created your own universe within this meditation. In this galactic space, your higher galactic mind will show you aspects of yourself through other timelines and dimensions, and once you see these light beings and other versions of yourself, you'll connect with the Galactic Federation of Light. Once you connect with the Galactic Federation of Light, you'll be able to connect to them telepathically. We understand this concept as we continue opening our hearts and awaken to our galactic consciousness.
Wow. You are incredible. I've got goosebumps over here. Obviously, you're ahead of your time. Maybe not a lot of people understand the galactic mind meditation, but it's needed for this new template. Thank you, Teresa, for spreading your consciousness and sharing this transmission you channeled from the Galactic Federation of Light. You also incorporated a service inspired by this called the Galactic Mind Meditation, which we'll discuss in greater detail in just a few moments. We have a lot of great information to share with you that will lead into upcoming episodes. We've also made a lot of updates to our website. Head over to intothemystic.com, that's IINTOTHEMYSTIIC.com to see all the new services we have to offer. So, Teresa, I have to ask, who designed this New World template and what was the reason behind it?
It was the Galactic Federation of Light who created this new template. The Cosmic Councils and the Galactic Federation of Light are here to serve you.
Aliens seeding the planet has been something people are becoming more aware of. They've been living amongst us for so long, sometimes in person, other times observing from afar.
To be able to have the encounter at all, we must be in an altered state of vibration. These aliens know exactly who to connect with. They can pick up our energies from one city to the other, and they will come to us physically. We will be able to see them with our physical eyes, not just with our mind's eye in those higher states of consciousness through meditation. We will encounter them by the year 2027.
We know they're already here, and people have come forward sharing their encounters with aliens or seeing UFOs, now coined as UPAs, over many, many years, my grandparents included when they were living in Argentina. We've also seen hints in archaeological finds all around the world that we had interaction with extraterrestrials in prior civilizations. Teresa, why have they decided to make contact of the fifth kind now?
Because these aliens recognize that some of us are ready for them.
Does this correlate with the new shift and elevation of consciousness on the planet?
Yes,
Which aliens are making direct contact with us this time?
there are many types of aliens, but these in particular are the Pleiadians, who are benevolent by nature. They're here to help us. They know exactly who to connect with. They will befriend us. They're not here to frighten us in any way. Actually, at first, they will use telepathic communication prior to the encounter. They will orchestrate the event. They know exactly whose vibration is high enough, and we will receive downloads before the physical encounter through meditation, dream state, or telepathy. And when in their presence, they will smile and speak to us in Pleiadian tongue, or send us telepathic communication. Those in the altered states are fearless because we know only love is real. So at first, the encounter will feel surreal to put into words. It's kind of like the apparition I had with Archangel Michael. It felt like a dream. It's going to be very powerful. Such force field of energy, a magnitude that will draw us into them, and we will feel engulfed with their love. These benevolent beings want us to connect with them because they're here to help us with their advanced technologies and shifting us even higher to the states of consciousness in order to break down all physical reality so we can tune into our multidimensional selves.
That's very inspiring, Teresa. It makes sense why you were guided to put together the Galactic Mind Meditation service to help those prepare for what's to come. Stay tuned for episode 3, where we discuss more about the different types of alien species, more about the Pleiadians, and our experiences with them.
Thank you for tuning in to our Galactic Station of Light. The two most important relationships that we have is the relationship with ourself and the relationship with the divine. Many people will be removed from destructive or stagnant relationships in order to pursue these two most important relationships. Once these two relationships are embodied with devotion, a new relationship vibrationally matched to your new ascending self will emerge. No division, only divinity. You see, self-love is a lot more than just saying to yourself, I love myself and I embrace all myself. Self-love is also about integrating all of your fragmented parts that you have denied, rejected, or suppressed. And of course, embrace all your true authentic self. Self-love is also about respecting others, having compassion, and carrying the empathy gene. So, we do not have relationship issues. We have unhealed childhood trauma that bleeds into our relationships. Connected to everything, attached to nothing. And this has always been the motto for highly spiritual people. We are in the world, but not of it. According to Schumann resonance, the vibrational frequency of the planet is 7.83 Hertz, which is the heart of Gaia. When we live in our heart space, we tend to increase our overall vibration, bringing our frequency levels to about 800 Hertz and beyond. Since everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, you may notice some of your relationships falling apart. As we continue to ascend to higher states of consciousness, certain people will no longer be part of our lives. It's nothing personal, it's frequency. Controversely, the same for those who have not done the inner work and continue to operate out of their shadow. Their vibration is too low and may not be able to sustain this new Earth template.
Okay, so you're saying that the planet's vibration is at 783 hertz, and all of us individually might be at something different. But if we can't reach at least 800 hertz of the vibration frequency within ourselves, are you saying that we are not keeping up with this new template? Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. In order to shift to the new template, we must realize the shift begins within us. Our bodies have to change, frequency and vibration, in order to follow. When our frequency levels reach 800 Hertz, we tune into the universe and everything becomes synchronistic. When we reach 1150 Hertz, revelations begin to unfold before our eyes. And when we reach 1200 Hertz and beyond, we experience divine miracles. During these shifts, you will feel it in your physical body. Some people may even experience ascension symptoms, such as high blood pressure, heart palpitations, aches and pains, and dizziness. This is the body's way of adjusting because everything has to adjust on a cellular level. So you go see your doctor and all the tests come back negative, and there's nothing wrong with you. Ascension symptoms may vary from person to person. Those with a very high vibration may experience very mild or no symptoms at all. Your frequency levels will increase, and taking the mountain analogy, if you were to climb a mountain for the very first time, you're going to feel dizzy. And that is the perfect example how ascension symptoms feel like. We are here to move mountains of consciousness. A channeled message from the Galactic Federation of Light. Dearest starseeds, as you elevate consciousness and activate your star DNA, your cells are having a spiritual rebirth. It's a rejuvenation process, and that's why a lot of you are looking a lot younger than your age. One of my channels is an intergalactic connection with the Pleiades. I have an outstanding relationship with the Pleiadians since the year 2000. Even before Facebook or any other social media existed, there was a time I was astral projected into a classroom where at first there was no students and no teacher. However, I did see the presence of extraterrestrial beings around me. There were many other beautiful souls in that same space. I realized I was in a classroom in the Pleiadian constellation. These beautiful blue benevolent aliens were telepathically communicating with me, and in just one download within about 30 seconds, they showed me a healing technique called the Pleiadian Rebirthing, which is a womb healing for women. Many years later, I joined Facebook and came across the exact same Pleiadian Rebirthing healing that was taught to me by the Pleiadians.
Teresa still offers this womb healing taught by the advanced healers in the Pleiadian constellation. For more information on the Pleiadian Rebirth womb healing service, visit intothemystic.com. That's IINTOTHEMYSTIIC.com.
Every soul high in the light has a childlike personality and a good sense of humor. The mountain has always been a tremendous source of inspiration that offers us scenic views along our journey. When climbing the mountain of life, we decide if we see opportunities or challenges based on our level of consciousness. When we expand our consciousness, we expand our horizons. The mountain is solid and stands silently. It is not affected by the weather conditions. In the same way, if we choose our surroundings to affect us. If we remain optimistic about life, we elevate our vibration and begin to see the mountain as the totality of the universe. And it's up to us to create the story that goes with it. We may not always know exactly what someone's going through, but being a voice of reason and having a clear mind can really help someone out. Sometimes all a person really needs is a little perspective and a positivity to help uplift them. It's hard to see the light when you're going through the dark night of the soul. By taking the steps to put yourself in another person's shoes, by being more understanding and having empathy towards them, sets the tone for building healthier relationships and will pave a smoother path when climbing the mountain of life. Shoe shifting is the art of trying to understand someone's situation. If you put yourself in someone's shoes, you try to understand what their situation's like and think about it as if you were in the same situation. Putting ourselves in another person's shoes, learning to emphasize with the experiences of people is a spiritual practice. It's a real exercise in redefining perception and bestowing compassion. This practice is based on the golden rule, universal and timeless spiritual law. When we take some time and energy to examine ourselves and consider the position and needs of others, we begin to heal and transform our relationship patterns.
It's natural for people to grow and change. It's soul evolution. But did you ever notice that there are some people that seem perpetually stuck?
We came into this world weak, and weak we will leave. We came without money and things. We are leaving without money and things. Our first bath, someone washed us. Our final bath, someone washes us away. So why all the malice, the jealousy, the greed? Death will sneak up on those who live malevolent lifestyles. Their vibration is too low and will not be able to sustain this high-frequency template. I had a partner who reached my frequency, but then he got a little bit too close into my space and tried to distract me from my ascension. So I had to use discernment and cut the cord and rose higher again. The brighter the light, the stronger the trigger of other people's energies. Sometimes your light would trigger people's parasitic energy, filters, programming, and the many suppressed pain body that they carry. And it's only exposed by someone who's cultivated in their light and who has done the inner work, because it reflects back the light that they need in order for them to see their own shadow. It triggers people's insecurities, but no matter what, stay focused on the message you're here to bring, from what you've experienced and have acquired wisdom from.
This is one of the many important reasons why we are highlighting this. Because as Teresa mentioned, we are in the new template now, and the old ways no longer apply. The universe is reinforcing you to confront the aspects of yourself that need healing, that perhaps you've been hiding, since now everything is full exposure. To aid in your awakening, we are giving you solutions on what to do when you are feeling triggered. In the end, it is up to you to decide if you will follow through. If you don't make the effort to go inwards, it will be more difficult to exit the false template.
If you are not balanced within yourself and decide to take on a role as a spiritual leader, teacher, or healer, but haven't done the real depth of inner work, then this split spiritual personality in your actions becomes a negative backlash, and you will go into more negative emotions, and eventually you will either flip into a permanent negative shadow as a spiritual personality type, or permanently break free and balance yourself into a permanent positive spiritual behavior. Or you might meet genuine people, and unfortunately they have attachments they know nothing of. They're not even conscious because they're so driven by childhood traumas and using them for this new age cover-up.
Someone who I know went through something similar. We had been discussing this topic, and they told me they ended up getting involved in a pyramid scheme without even being aware of it. It all started with a specific teacher who was part of a trusted establishment. At first, it seemed more helpful than harmful when they were trying to sell books to them. Then, other material, and it got to a point where my friend started to feel that it was coming off very salesy because the teacher was being very persistent. The material they were selling wasn't their own work. They started connecting the dots and realizing perhaps this teacher was earning a commission off of every item or material they sell. How the spiritual facade came down. They discerned the disconnect between the teacher and their work, and how they were not embodying the practice or lifestyle that they were selling my friend. Eventually, the practitioner was trying to advise them on selling their house, their cars, in order to invest in the financial markets under their watch. What saved them from falling for this trap was listening to their intuition and their trained spiritual discernment. By tuning in and picking up on the lower vibrational frequency the practitioner was giving off every time they would engage in a conversation.
Be clever as the devil and pure as an angel.
One of Teresa's truth bombs, be clever as a devil, meaning vigilant and aware, and pure as an angel, to remind you to remain kind-hearted and always graceful. Not everything of light is positive, and not everything of darkness is negative. There's always a shadow behind the light. Darkness does not necessarily mean malevolent.
The world is filled with opportunities for you to practice sensing truth behind the mask. Discernment helps you cut through illusion, manipulation, and deception. Discernment helps you recognize the true value and potential, intention and capacity in people and situation in your life. It is a way to allow the reality of what is to become clear to you. Sit in a quiet space, close your eyes, and bring your awareness to a certain person or situation, and use your discerning inner eye. This will help give you genuine potential to where or what you need to give your time and attention to, even if others tell you that you are wasting your time and energy when they cannot see what you see. Place your hands to your heart and connect with your higher self, and ask yourself as many questions as possible. You'll be able to discern the truth. What you are perceiving is far more accurate than you may always realize. Trust it.
Being a spiritual person, when you come into this earth, either you are wide awake, or like most of us, after living on the earth plane a while, you detach from your special ability, or multiple abilities, after the age of 4, 6, or 12, in the stage of adolescence, because that's when all the societal influences around you begins to shield you from it by design. Tapping into these spiritual aspects is achieved when you are attuned with yourself, your spirit team, your star family, your guides, all of that. It's a craft. It's a way of living, a lifestyle. If anyone is watching The Rings of Power, seeing how Gandalf came to be when he arrives to Middle-earth and forgets his origins, even his name, and goes through all these trials and meets his wizard guide, it's very much the same. In the meanwhile, we are spiritually navigating our way as if looking through a mirror that's covered by a layer of moisture after a hot shower. We can make sense of forms taking shape, but don't have a clear view of what's on the other side. or from the perspective of a car that has not been turned on after many years. Those extra sensory receptors need to be reignited, like if you were the engine that's thawing after a cold winter. The reconnection of your human mind and etheric mind is a computer rebooting from being on standby for so long. It's not an easy task to reconnect if you are this type of person that has to try and rebuild. So when I say this, I am saying it with the deepest sincerity. There is no way a crash course in mediumship is going to have you prepared to be of service to others just because the teacher gives you a certificate after a 2-day attendance. I know we touched on those psychedelic trips people do with ayahuasca in episode 1. It's the same with this. If you're unprepared, tread carefully. Use your intuition. Don't choose a teacher just because everyone else chooses that teacher. Truly, work with someone who feels right and is not just there to be a money grab. If you have not primed yourself, and by priming I mean first establishing your own inner connection with the etheric, first developing your own identity and practice, to go into an environment like this, your spirit is like honey to flies. And that's the most important point. It's not a simple matter of what's the worst that can happen. If you've never been into mysticism, if you wanted to go because your friends were going, or you heard the person hosting the event was good, or it was popular, the worst thing that could happen in that context is not just having a bad trip, etherically abused, being spiritually taken advantage of, and being left with otherworldly attachments. That is, if you make it out of the session alive. Yeah, I heard some people have actually passed away.
Thank you for sharing. It takes extensive knowledge and practice to access the higher states of consciousness and to develop the gift of spiritual discernment. It takes years of experience and meditation practices and a healthy spiritual lifestyle. In fact, it takes years of dedication, commitment, self-discipline to obtain self-mastery. To those people who never connect to spirit, I cannot begin to tell you the amount of extensive training, self-discipline, patience, spiritual discernment, and solitude it takes to hone your skill, channeling techniques, meditation, and a balanced, focused mindset with the understanding of energy, frequency, and dimensions. To be considered a professional, highly skilled medium takes a lot more than a weekend. The greatest mediums are naturally born mediums who hone their craft and take their talent seriously. The shaman who never gets his knowledge from a classroom, it's a natural skill set of rituals, initiations, and years of intense spiritual development of the higher spiritual realms, physical and lower realms. The shamanic spirit runs deep in the bloodline. Even if you're born awake and connected to spirit, you still need the practice. For those of you who try to open up a geometric portal, please be mindful. If you open up a portal, it is a wise decision to have knowledge and experience. If you don't properly understand the fundamentals of how to open a portal door, it will spin the opposite direction and attract demons. A spiritual teacher creates a sacred space for his students and practices a healthy spiritual lifestyle full of integrity and love. The spiritual teachings are for the best interests of the student.
What top factors and questions would you recommend to assist in people helping them find or distinguish which mentors or teachers are of light?
Here are some questions you can ask the medium who will be facilitating the mediumship classes. Does the medium have a high vibrational frequency? Then ask the teacher, what is your level of frequency? What type of spirits does the medium channel? Does this mediumship course include how to discern spirits? Does this course offer meditation practices? And how many hours is this entire training course? And what's the cost? These are just few questions to ask the medium prior to signing up for the course. But most of all, always use your own intuition.
This new template is exposing all. Most recently, the Hollywood curtain has also fallen, and we are finally seeing in the physical the facade and idolization of celebrities begin to crumble. and an emergence into a new wave of spiritual celebrities, the people who are attuned to the higher vibrations, spreading consciousness, and the everyday heroes. There's so much that happens behind that Hollywood curtain, much like the battles a person of a spiritual high rank faces. While the pop culture celebs enjoy being in the limelight, it's obvious a spiritual celebrity is the light, here to alchemize and raise the Earth's vibration. This is why I had referred to you, Teresa, in the last episode as a spiritual celebrity, because when we look at the parallels of a spiritual celebrity and what a pop culture celebrity faces, they are very similar. Where the 3D celeb is followed by paparazzi, fans, stalkers. We talked before on how your light has been attracting dark forces, monitoring spirits, even spiritual stalkers, taking photos of you throughout your day-to-day in attempts to catch footage of the angelic beings that surround you, much like spiritual bodyguards. At your level of rank in the spirit, your initiations and trials have earned you spiritual merits beyond what most can imagine, which is why you quote often, "Anything is possible. I've seen demons bow their heads down to angels."
Universal laws contain the principle of accountability. All human beings are responsible for their thoughts, deeds, actions, and behaviors. All of these are direct choices made each person in the moment that we direct energetic consequences to restore energetic balance to the appropriate parties at the end of the ascension cycle. Whatever quality of energies we prepare our body to be resonant with or hold as a spiritual vessel, whether it is a positive force or a negative force, is what we allow ourselves to have consent with. Whatever kind of force we are in consent with, whether we're conscious of it or not, is the frequency that our body and consciousness is subjected to in the universal law. The quality of spiritual force will have corresponding dimensional laws which govern the actions of the quality of that spirit. Negative forces are in the lower dimensions and create bondage to time, while positive forces are in the highest spiritual dimensions and create sovereignty, freedom to the soul and spirit. Practicing accountability is a direct part of spiritual ascension. As we increase our ability to be responsible, we increasingly developed our spiritual awareness and the way we perceive human values that evolve ourselves out of existing in the lower energy dimensions. Being accountable for our behavior and choosing more evolved higher ethical behaviors is how we stop the cycle of attachments and bondage to lower spirits and their lower nature.
Choosing more higher ethical behaviors can be put into practice as easily as navigating every interaction you have with another through the observer perspective. You may not have control of the nature of the tests or divine detours that come your way, but what you do have control of is how you choose to react. For example, when someone you come across is meeting you with a tone of displeasure or a topic that you do not share the same views as they do, being mindful in the moment on how you respond to this interaction will either keep your frequency sheltered or drag you down. It is fine to speak your truth and be your authentic self without watering yourself down. There's a saying, you cannot talk butterfly language with caterpillar people. Not everyone can fly with you. And that takes us back to the wonderful mountain analogy Teresa had mentioned from before.
This is also an accurate statement when determining the quality that one will experience in their personal life, family dynamics, career, and in every social interaction and communication they engage in. The importance of committing to a personal accountability as a developed character trait and skill set in order to improve one life's condition in every possible way. The willingness to be accountable for what you do, don't do, and refuse to do is a significant trait of your moral character.
There is a fine line between where inspiration flows and where energy harvesting grows. I had a friend who was in catering, and our other friend in common ordered a few dishes of theirs to go along with some they had cooked when hosting their in-laws over and wanted to impress them. The family complimented only the dishes that she had ordered. They felt so insecure with themselves, they chose to lie and tell their family that they had cooked these delicious meals when they had not. The day after the party, another person in my network of friends overhears the host admit what they had done wrong. They decided to question them on why they felt compelled to lie. It's okay to admit when you don't know how to cook a dish from a specific culture, but the host explained to them they don't have the proper ingredients. And even when they did, it doesn't taste the same or come out as good as the way our catering friend does it. In the future, another event takes place, and this time the host was invited to go over their in-laws, and they had requested she make the same dishes that they loved. She was frantic and cursing because they soon realized how their lie in taking credit for the meals prepared by someone else was now catching up with her. Where she thought it was an isolated incident she could get away with, people are starting to figure out it's not as good as it tasted before. This goes in line with the spiritual facade we come across. There are a lot of copycats out there. Much like this happened to Teresa's music she had made over 20 years ago. All the writing, the producing, the singing, sold without her consent. Teresa, you're such an inspiration. Not only through your music, when it was ahead of its time, but your creative writing and channeled messages that you've shared with everyone when you opened your Facebook page many moons ago. And for anyone else that can relate to this message, we bring this up because the truth always finds a way to come to the light, especially in the new template that we are now in. The truth will manifest itself to the people that need to hear it. The greatness, that secret sauce, that is akin to every person's individual success, it comes from them being aligned in their North Node, their purpose.
You cannot try and take someone's blueprint for success or emulate them and present yourself as them in their lightness. In the law of compensation, all scales will be balanced. The secret password to every soul is to love every blessed heart in existence and to see all life's creation as a reflection of the divine. Love is the light that illuminates all souls. When you send love to others, you're sending light to their soul. When you're sending light to a soul, you're helping them raise their vibration, and you're helping them ascend to live the brightest version of themselves. We rise, we arrive at the heart of the matter, metaphorically in the center of the mountain, the center of our hearts. We return to sacredness, the purity of who we truly are. We return to innocence with godlike minds, free-spirited, peace of mind, and a beautiful scenic, like a breath of fresh air. Freeing souls from bondage since forever, helping you grow your own wings so you can fly into the heavenly realms. Highly evolved souls are considered crazy for being right too soon through the lens of society standards and often misunderstood because of their very high frequency. This is the real success of learning your truth about your soul. An advanced soul has a strong spirit most people can't handle because your true authentic nature is too real for the majority, can discern through illusions, and have the ability to make worldly predictions far in advance. A highly evolved soul is here to reflect light on the shadows which were hidden so you can heal yourself. They spread love and consciousness. These wonderful beings live in their heart space and are in sync with the universe. They embody the spirit of truth. The greatest truth tellers of the world have the hearts of the highest integrity. Their version of integrity cannot be found in every person that they meet. So they go around wondering why they cannot be met at their level and have a difficult time understanding why most people hide behind a facade and hope to meet the people who speak the truth on the same level as them. Is this happening to you? Well, keep speaking your truth.
And for the truth speakers, in this new template, their voices will echo, rippling through the universe.
A true mystic lives in multidimensional worlds simultaneously, the outer physical world and the inner spiritual world, occupied by the presence of God. A mystic is a person who spends their life in pursuit of God's presence and absolute truth. which is one the same as God's presence. Down through the ages, the primary method used to find God's presence has been through meditation. And once a mystic has either come close or actually experienced God's presence, there arises a different approach to success, and often redefining what success should look like. Success can encompass much more in its definition than merely physical or worldly success. A true mystic sees success, which includes spiritual awakening, awareness, and enlightenment in one's life. A mystic connects God's consciousness through ongoing daily meditation. The attributes of God's universal mind integrate with the mortal mind. Each time you meditate, the higher universal energies of God's presence travels into the human or conscious level of your mind. What takes place in an integration of energies within you, of both mortal and immortal, personal and universal? As this integration of energies occurs, the attributes of the divine as energies become part of your conscious mind's energies. And to bring success, the key is to rely on your inner oneness with God's consciousness. Once you can clear your mind of other dependencies for success, the presence of God automatically takes over and brings you success. Mystics abandon their ego and give it to the universe. And when this occurs, personal ego-based self-confidence is replaced with God's self-reliance to bring about success. When you put your trust in God as a true mystic would, you totally trust and have faith in the ultimate power in the universe to bring success into your life, both inwardly and outwardly. The greatest mystics travel alone but are never lonely. They travel with poise of cooperating with the laws of the universe, rather than one who resists the mighty power of the infinite intent that determines life's unfolding. Their wisdom brings them closer to life, closer to the heart of the world, and gazes off into space, and sees space as full of love, truth, and law. In other words, a mystic is a spiritual seeker who's driven to surrender their ego and deeply integrating truth that we are all one with the universe. The mystic is a chosen being who commits their life to the divine.
Speaking of teachers and masters, what is the difference between the two, Teresa?
A spiritual master has attained full God realization and is able to channel divine power. A master embodies love and deep appreciation for all of humanity and nature. They understand the law of oneness. A master sees the student as himself in a true form of divinity. Their consciousness has risen, putting their frequency in a higher reality. A master embodies the spirit of meditation, yoga, mediumship, and spiritual teachings. A master enlightens you to see from a higher perspective and brings awareness to each situation. The student who embodies the spirit of yoga and meditation from the old template into this new template are the teachers of the new world.
When we say the word mystical marks, cases of stigmata with people bleeding and signs of crosses on their palms and feet may come to mind. Most people are not aware that the physical body is the holy grail of a spiritual movement. Overlooking the signs on the body, meanwhile, it's where it's all happening. In this new age, most people don't pay attention to the physical body because we're more wrapped into the spiritual, regarding the vessel and the spirit as two separate entities, when their symbiotic relationship is truly vital. One morning in July 2023, Teresa was meditating with her client on a specific Indian master. During their session, she was guided to dip her right toe into a bowl of water. At the time, Teresa had no idea she was in the act of receiving an initiation by this very master in the ethers. Teresa had received the water from a friend who visited India, not realizing at the time this would be the exact water required by tradition for this type of initiation. This Indian master was known for his initiations, and it was given only to certain mystics with a high rank in spirit. It was determined that Teresa received a lotus foot initiation, which is an esoteric ritual given to mystics that dates back thousands of years. The reason for this ritual is to initiate the mystic's path to divinity. Once Teresa removed her toe from the water, her big toe started to swell, and it became twice its size. As her client watched in amazement, they mentioned this is exactly what happens after receiving a lotus toe initiation. It's proof that the initiation was successful and that this is the master's way of letting Teresa know he will be guiding her along her journey. Many people have tried to do this particular ritual, but had no success. Only a true mystic can do it because a master chooses the mystic to be initiated, not the other way around. This is another reason why the master channels through Teresa to this day. We have photos of these incredible moments to share with you all in our book. In addition to Teresa possessing Rh O-negative blood and a rare genetic indicator of the golden ring around her emerald eyes, she has also had countless events of divine intervention and mystical marks appear on her body. On June 2023, a pyramid of light appeared on her forehead. In the same month, an angel face appeared on her knee. In July of the same year, the shape of a perfect pyramid had appeared in her left eye, with then a face of an angel within the pyramid. These spiritual markings all took place leading up to the event in July where she received the lotus foot initiation. So, from head to toe, her body was being prepared for this next upgrade. On this planet walks the Earth Angels. There are only 10 of them hiding in plain sight, the Watchers, observing humanity, and others who were sent to play a role and help humanity escape out of the mental trap the dark forces have created to try to keep the world asleep. There's been a shift in the framework that we are witnessing in our timeline. This includes the revelations of angels and aliens. One woman lives amongst them, a spiritually marked soul, uncovering over her lifetime that she is the key to it all. A Gregori soul, ancient and vital to the New Earth template. No one knew that an angel would set the world on fire. What if you discovered that the battle between light and darkness was unfolding all around you? Meet Teresa Hanhiae Bombino, an earth angel who walks the path filled with spiritual battles and divine revelations, sent here on earth through the threshold to transmute darkness into light. Her grippingly true story unveils a reality where angels, demons, and the Galactic Federation collide. Guided by Archangel Michael and powerful forces that channel through her to help battle the highest levels of spiritual warfare. She navigates a treacherous world, solving crimes and uncovering prophetic truths that restores balance to the scales of justice. As a spiritual warrior, Teresa crosses the threshold of hell, emerging under the wings of the angelic kingdom and shatters illusions along the way. This powerful life story that explores love, darkness, and the law of oneness. Prepare to be captivated by a memoir that transcends reality. This journey is not for the faint of heart. Whoa, this sounds like the script from a fantastical movie. But the truth is, Teresa, this is about your life. I'm so excited to be sharing with our listeners right now a synopsis of your upcoming book, My Life as an Earth Angel. Teresa, I am so grateful to be a part of writing this book with you. I've known you for many years in this lifetime and also for many lifetimes before. So I find comfort that your precious story is being carefully crafted with me by your side. I want to get into asking you a few questions. To start off, there was a soul type that I mentioned called a Gregori soul. Can you tell us more about this?
Gregori Souls are celestial beings who have a task of overseeing humanity. They are the watchers and protectors who stand in the front line. Gregori Souls are incredibly rare soul types who come from the angelic kingdom with a warrior spirit. In my meditation, I was shown there is 159 Gregori Souls in the world. When a Gregori Soul makes the transition from Earth, another soul immediately incarnates into a human body. I was told there must always be 159 Gregori Souls present on Earth.
Teresa will be getting more detailed in the next episode about these 10 Earth Angels on the planet. and how their souls are part of the 159 Gregoris, each having a different task and mission.
I love listening to Gregorian chants. According to legend, Gregori chant was the most sacred prayers, and it was believed if you have sung to Gregori, the Holy Spirit who appeared to him in the form of a white dove. Gregori chants is just another way of bringing in angelic presence into your life.
Wow, that is fascinating. It's also so interesting to learn about the history of this unique soul type. As an angelic hybrid, some may even consider you to be an alien because of your rare genetic makeup. Based on a live blood analysis that you received from a specialist, they stated, having seen Teresa's blood samples over the years, I hadn't encountered these findings before. It is indeed a rarity. Earth angels were hidden under the old template because we were under the influence of Pisces, which is illusions. Now in the age of Aquarius, this is why they are no longer hidden in plain sight. Teresa, how do Earth angels differ from Gregoris?
An angelic soul is an angel in human form. Their higher self is connected to the angelic realm. These souls support the divine angelic kingdom and carry the energy of a guardian angel. They have a high frequency level and a different genetic makeup. Their source of energy is love and compassion. Their soul signature energy is one of the reasons why they came to Earth, is to aid a more acceptance, a greater peace from a love and compassionate perspective. Earth angels had many angelic apparitions and epiphanies. They were born with God-given supernatural abilities and used their gifts for the highest of all good. Their entire existence is to be guardian angels for all of humanity. They have a high calling, guided by angels, and their mission is to elevate you to higher states of consciousness so you can free yourself and fly into the heavenly realms.
If you heard our first episode, Teresa explained more about Earth angels and those with angelic coding. In part of Teresa's discovery of being an Earth angel, she had an encounter with Archangel Michael. Teresa, your sessions leave clients with dramatic life changes and divine interventions. Can you share some of them with us?
I had a client and we were sitting outdoors having our session. A piece of tree bark came flying and landed onto her lap. It was summertime, there was no wind, and the weather was beautiful. At first, my client was a little confused. When we both looked around, we realized the piece of bark came out of nowhere. Similar to my other experience I mentioned in our first episode, when a book came flying across the room and landed onto my lap. We both noticed inside the tree bark was a perfect shaped eye with a green pupil. I have green eyes and I knew there was a connection. My spiritual team orchestrated this divine intervention to reassure me I was divinely protected from malevolent eyes. I was on FaceTime with a client and her deceased brother came through the reading. He was a young man with a great sense of humor. At one point in the reading, he guided me to my front door. He mentioned that there was something there. When I arrived to my front porch, I saw one potato chip. At first, it was a bit strange since no one in the household eats potato chips. However, as soon as I picked up the chip, I realized there was a perfect heart shape inside the potato chip. This was my client's deceased brother's way of letting her know he loves her. And I also learned that they both shared an inside joke about potato chips. I immediately took a picture of the potato chip and placed it inside a clear plastic bag and met with my client to give her the gift of potato chip from heaven.
Thank you, Teresa. I know you can't say more. Those are just a few of the mystical marks, revelations, supernatural events, and divine interventions Teresa has been bestowed upon.
It's not me, it comes through me. Erika, I'm extremely grateful for you and everything that you do. This has been a long time coming. We've been actually writing this book for many years. Our collaboration has brought us closer together. Your wonderful presence, your time, your energy, your patience, your creativity, and all your downloads. This has been a beautiful experience. What a journey. Thank you. I love you.
Who's chopping onions? I love you too. You're the best. Stay tuned for the upcoming book, My Life as an Earth Angel, as there will be many more stories Teresa uncovers and goes into further detail.
To those amazing, genuine, authentic souls who consistently expand in consciousness and choose to remain balanced, unfazed, unbothered, and untouchable, I love you. Telepathic thoughts filled their mind in a space of cosmic gaze. Two souls intertwined with eyes they barely knew. You deserve the kind of love that whispers magic in your ear and tugs at your heart like musical strings and singing winds. You deserve the kind of love filled with miracles and kisses and medicine in your veins, the love which honors an essence and blesses your name. You deserve the kind of love that leaves energetic imprints in your brain. You deserve the kind of love that feels like home, but also sets your soul on fire and blasts into flames. And don't you dare settle for anything less than what you deserve. Love is not a relationship. Love is a state of consciousness. It is the highest vibrational frequency in the universe. And by tuning into the vibrational frequency, we align ourselves with the very essence of divine energy. Love is the fragrance that is deeply rooted with self-love and has nothing to do with someone else. It's just a byproduct of harmony, and when we are in alignment, we ascend to those higher states of consciousness and feel the pleasantness in the emotion called love. Someone who's unaware of the alchemy of love will continuously seek the other to ignite the motion of love. Someone who is loving even when he's alone, because love is its nature. It has nothing to do with a relationship. You can feel him brimming with love even when he's alone. Just like flowers spread the fragrance of love, the same way we spread fragrance of love. To be fragrant is flower's nature, and it is not depending on anyone for its appreciation. There is a saying that says, the secret of genius is to carry the spirit of a child into old age. Being playful is the key component in making us happier, healthier, more present and connected in all of our relationships. It's time to be childlike, not childish. We all came into this world with an energetic blueprint and possibly hold relationship karmic debt that was created hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. On the other hand, you can transmute all relationship karmic imprints by doing the inner work and raising your overall vibration.
And this is how we balance the scales. There are so many stories I hear of women that are in relationships and then get stuck on wondering, when am I going to get my ring? I'm sure you guys have heard this before. I'll be the first one to say the ring is not important unless you make it important. Sometimes people roll into relationships without asking the big questions. For starters, if your partner is compatible with you in your beliefs, your 5-year plan, babies, their outlook on life, and relationship dynamics. It's okay to tell the person that you may very well commit the rest of your life to what you actually want. This is why common law came into place, because the traditional marriage does not apply to everyone. If you're in the "where is my ring" predicament, you need to ask yourself, why are you in this current relationship? Ask your heart this question, then ask your mind this question, and ask your soul this question. Oftentimes, we already know the answer. We feel it in our gut before the sentence is finished. Maybe it's not about the ring. Maybe you are using this as the excuse. You need to ask yourself, do you have healthy self-confidence? Because in the end, a ring should not be what you need in order to validate yourself and the strength of your relationship. If you need a ring to tell you who you are, your importance and value, then you've lost yourself. A ring, a piece of paper, over the true actions of what commitment looks like and means. You teach people how to treat you. So please don't change your identity or lose yourself over a person if your partner is not meeting all your needs. I have the perfect example with myself. The way I choose to operate, I'm in a common law relationship. We act as if we're married, but we're not. We do everything for each other because for us, love is love. And so sometimes people will ask us, when are you getting married? And that's a totally fine question to ask. But sometimes it sounds like it's the expectation or the next step, when really, between the two of us in our relationship, we've always been fine existing in the way we have always operated in our relationship, whether that paper was there or not. And so the reason why I'm not in the predicament of where is my ring is because that wasn't my focus. It wasn't important to me for my relationship, and neither was it for him. But the ring naturally came over time. We view the ring as a symbol, but nothing more than that, because it doesn't change the way we operate with ourselves. We recognize that the majority of society still doesn't quite operate this way. And so now this ring for us is used as a tool, allowing people to leave it to their own assumptions and to not ask us so many questions.
There is a lot of value in remaining celibate and selective. Solitude is important. Fasting, celibacy, prayer, meditation, and connecting to nature heals the mind, the body, and the soul. Being celibate while attracting the right person for you is a sign of strength, self-love, self-discipline, and self-respect. To harness the celibate energy, you elevate and radiate. Your celibate energy sits in a reserve in a purified state, and you ascend to the higher states of consciousness.
In several spiritual books, it's acknowledged when you take on a partner, you take on their emotions, any energetic baggage, and frequency when intimate. Celibacy is similarly likened to virginity, as the longer you remain celibate, the closer you return to your individual pure energetic essence. Perhaps the energy of being untainted is the true reason why, throughout history, they are always sacrificing virgins.
A bromance is a very close non-sexual relationship between two men or man and a woman. There is a high level of emotional intimacy, and it feels like a brotherly bond. Kind of like a soul brother. You may have even had a past life together, and they're part of your soul tribe. To lead a spiritual life, we need to respect and embrace our sexuality. Your sexuality is more than a pathway to physical pleasure or an avenue to create offspring. Your sexuality is potentially a doorway to multidimensional experience, a pathway to personal empowerment, and a wellspring of creativity begging to be birthed and expressed. Your sexuality is your vitality, your longevity, your strength, your holy Shakti fire, vital energy of life force and beauty embodied. It takes years, actually 7 years, for your energy body to be fully cleared from any unhealthy partner. When your partner enters your yoni, what kind of consciousness and energy do they have? Are they bitter or happy? Is your partner a positive or negative thinker? Having sex with an unhealed partner creates more traumas. The energy of sex amplifies whatever's stored in your subconscious mind. If you are filled with traumas that you've never healed, having sex will amplify these traumas. When a woman is making love to you, is she staining your soul, or is she making love to your soul? Does she love herself? Is she a well-balanced woman? You need to see your partner beyond the flesh and develop your senses to see the wound cycle they're actively in and the wound cycle they're attempting to offer you. It's time to cleanse your sexual trauma and shame around sex and fully open your heart to feeling the beauty of love.
There was a TikTok trend I came across where people would post pictures of themselves, like a side-by-side comparison of how they looked while they remained in a relationship that no longer aligned with their frequency versus how they looked physically once they were out of it. The physical changes that took place with their bodies, in addition to regaining their radiance between those before and after pictures. It's astonishing. It's astonishing to see how your body shows you when something is wrong, even if your mind or your heart is telling you something different.
Divine counterparts are two highly vibrational frequencies connected by the divine spark of our existence. They connect in the ethers and have an ongoing telepathic communication. They share two aspects of the same soul merged into heart consciousness and recognize each other as God's image. These divine counterparts rarely see each other in the physical 3D because they understand each other on a very deep soul level, which creates unity consciousness where they radiate unconditional love for the entire universe.
This is really fascinating. What Teresa is introducing is that two highly evolved divine counterparts exist, but they are so underestimated in the physical 3D because they do not need to see each other. They do not have the same human physical needs. Since their soul level is high into the heavenly realms, as Teresa would put it, they connect in the ethers. I believe this beautiful telepathic communication was something you had mentioned in our first episode, where Teresa was talking about the role that Adam plays for her, which you also go further into describing in our book. This is a really good point you are bringing up because a lot of people are still fixated on the 3D. More and more, we are seeing people in other parts of the world choosing not to take on the roles on having a physical partner and living a quote-unquote single life. It doesn't necessarily mean they are truly alone. I believe subconsciously their human vessels are acknowledging that version of themselves, where etherically they may already feel complete. So the mission of these divine counterparts is to radiate love together. And that union alone helps shift the consciousness and in elevating the vibration for the highest good of the universe. When that cosmic love projects out of their hearts, that unlocks the key that Teresa refers to. These counterparts, they can be human, but they can also be otherworldly. They don't have to be living together in the same place or timeline.
We are in this world, but not of it. In ancient times, people used telepathy to communicate over long distance. Most people use telepathic communication with each other, especially lovers such as Romeo and Juliet, or even sailors out at sea. They would have ongoing conversations with each other throughout the day.
Speaking of telepathy, I remember you mentioned having an ongoing astral connection with Adam, who's played a significant role in your life. For anyone who is just tuning in for the first time, Adam is not human and is part of the Galactic Federation of Light. He's appeared to Teresa several times. I know we get more into detail about him in the book, but could you give us a little more insight about this ongoing relationship you have with him?
Thank you, Erika. Yes. As I mentioned, love transcends all dimensions of time and space. In the future, most people will be using telepathic communication in their relationships. So try using telepathy with your family, friends, and partners. I do see this coming in, where more people will experience a 5D telepathy connection with their loved ones, even though we have access to technology. For example, you telepathically connect with a loved one and communicate to them. Don't forget to pick up dinner, and then you give them your specific order. The speed of telepathy travels faster than a text message. You just need to be open to the connection. A telepathic connection feels more intimate than using a telephone. And of course, it's an interesting way to communicate and help develop your psychic abilities. It's going to be fun because once you see your loved one enter the home with your favorite meal, it's going to put a smile on your face. If you want to develop your telepathic skills, a great way to do this is by sending messages using images followed by words. The best thing you can do is to become clear as possible and progressively embody your higher self. This is the key to true empowerment and sovereignty. A balanced and harmonized person will always experience higher sensory visions and sounds. To connect with your soulmate through meditation, set the intention. A great way to develop a telepathic love connection with your soulmate is with intention. Have faith. Trust that the connection has been made. Relax. Take a few deep breaths. Drop into your heart space. Inhale love. Exhale love. Breathe. Feel the energy of love fill your heart. Allow this energy to expand. Visualize your soulmate sitting in front of you. Allow your foreheads to meet. Breath becomes one. Place your hand over your heart, their hand over yours. Send a telepathic image with heartfelt gratitude. Allow for the energy to naturally flow through you. Relax. Tune into your soulmate. Listen for messages. You may hear a voice as a feeling, not necessarily as a physical voice. These are all telepathic energies that you will pick up randomly at different times of the day. Remain in the sacred space with your beloved for the rest of your life. Divine love is eternal, infinite, and always like itself. And that's why you may dream of your soulmate years before even meeting them in the physical 3D. You can feel the tug at your heart. Your soul will remember all the experiences you had with your soulmate. In the higher states of consciousness, I am in complete awe sitting in the pure space of divine light, floating in pure awareness in the altered states of love and bliss, and in this angelic celestial love.
Teresa, do you believe in love at first sight?
Absolutely, yes. We are made of energy, and our magnetic fields attract another on our vibrational frequency. It's like two magnets that come together. I have experienced this kind of connection with another far beyond anything I have ever experienced. The moment our eyes met, the connection felt like heaven on earth. My heart was overflowing with joy. You see, we all have a divine spark, and sometimes you just need someone to ignite your fire within. It's like someone comes along with a spark plug to your car. You need that spark from somebody, and you might run into a certain person that'll be that spark plug to start your car of life, if you will. Have you ever encountered someone? Your eyes met. You felt the divine spark in your heart. You don't know who they are, but for some reason you feel like you've met them before, possibly a past life. Well, this person came into your life on that day to remind you that you are loved.
Sounds like a one-time love.
Everyone has latent potential, like a volcano that's dormant, and then all of a sudden you connect with another soul and everything erupts and flourishes in the most amazing way.
That spark you're describing must be when the souls recognize each other. I feel like your case was quite rare because it was almost like love at foresight because you dreamt of them before actually meeting them in the physical, right?
Having the gift of spiritual discernment and celestial vision is helpful because it gives me insight of what events are to come into my life and who will come through the horizon before encountering anyone in the physical 3D. At two different times in my life, my spiritual team gave me insight of two men with full description of their physical appearance, their character, the roles they would play, and my spirit guides also show me the bigger picture of these relationships. Everyone that comes into our life is either a lesson or a blessing. A sacred scroll for divine feminines. Thank you, divine feminines. May you all meet your divine partners in sacred union. Not a marriage on paper, but a sacred soul contract of divine love, unity consciousness, and universal ascension. May you all meet and honor your divine counterpart in the ceremony of completion. For the women who are in the enlightenment ascension process and have done the inner work and have such a deep yearning to meet their soulmate. If you're wondering why your soulmate has not arrived, one of the two reasons. First, your higher self wants you to continue the ascension process without any interference. Or your higher self wants you to continue the ascension process until your frequency level is high enough to attract the soulmate that is destined for you. Surrender and trust all of life's unfolding beauty. Women are the most beautiful creatures in the world, and each woman's body is like a great piece of artwork. A wise man once said, if you love a woman right, she'll become your devotee because her highest calling is towards God, and the level of affection, maternal love, deep connection with divine energy makes her naturally more inclined to spirituality than her male counterpart. And then the wise man opened his heart, loved her right, and they both became the image of God. To invest time and energy and love for another is an art and a practice. To be there for another is truly the most expensive gift. Nothing is more precious than your presence. No matter how expensive the things you buy for someone else, they're not as precious as your true presence. That presence makes you feel free, calm, and safe, and will increase their happiness and your own happiness.
So, Teresa, is it possible to find a partner in the heavenly realms?
Yes, it is very possible to find a partner in the afterlife. I had a client who came to see me this summer. She lost her son in a tragic motorcycle accident. He was only 24 years old. He immediately came through showing me his beautiful blue Harley-Davidson motorcycle with a woman behind him. She had long, beautiful blonde hair and a smile on her face. It did not surprise his mother that he showed up with a motorcycle because he loved bikes. She immediately burst out crying with tears rolling down her cheeks. At first, my client was a little confused because she did not recognize the woman on the bike. But her son mentioned he found a partner, literally a match made in heaven.
Wow, it's beautiful to know that love transcends through all time and space.
Our higher self is the part of us that remains connected to the divine. It's the God self within each of us. For those who experience multidimensional existence, you jump timelines in different parallel realities and play out different roles simultaneously. All our lives are taking place in different parts of the universe. For example, if you were a queen in ancient Egypt, you still have that queen archetypal energy. It's part of your soul signature, and the soul is eternal. That's why some of us receive visions, dreams, or downloads, or may experience past lives like watching a movie. It's possible to live out your past lives in a parallel reality. It all just depends how connected you are. And that's another reason why every event here on earth has already taken place. And this is how divine intervention prevents situations or events from occurring. This is why meditation is the best tool to access higher dimensional consciousness, perception, action, and identity. It's possible you can travel to the angelic kingdom, star planets, the Galactic Federation, the heavenly realms, and Earth simultaneously.
This takes us back to when you had mentioned in the last episode there's no such thing as death. You are simply just floating from one reality to many others.
Exactly. There is no such thing as death. You've already crossed the bardo. You've already entered the gates of heaven. Heaven is timeless. And through meditation in those higher states of consciousness, life and death move in the same space. To bring awareness to this topic, your deceased loved ones have all witnessed their own funeral or cremation service.
So, this is what you meant by we are in this world, but not of it.
Absolutely, yes. I once had a client who took his own life. Over time, I started to connect with him. He showed me he was living a parallel reality. He's still the exact same person, but in a different timeline. He did not reincarnate in a different form and start his life as a new baby like most people would. He left this earth and jumped another timeline in the same form. He kept his name, his age, he stayed the exact same way. You can still continue to live the same life as though you never died in another parallel reality version of yourself.
That's really interesting.
In the time of having a life review, after what most people would consider death, we get to decide which role we want to play. We can come back as an alien, a spirit guide, or an angel. This is the perfect example angelic hybrids exist.
Okay, the answer we've all been waiting for. Is it possible for an angel and a demon to fall in love?
Yes, it's possible for an angel and a demon to fall in love. Love is the strongest force in the universe. An angel and a demon connect through the power of love to transcend the barriers to serve as a narrative device for redemption. They join together to ascend into the angelic kingdom for higher purpose. The divine connection is not romantic in nature. It's a divine connection through power and will. Once the demon incarnates as an angel, the two angels ascend into the angelic kingdom where they both serve the divine.
For a fallen angel to embrace their light, It really does sound like the classic love story of a daemon falling in love with an angel.
Yes, Erika, that's exactly the reason for my quotes. Anything is possible. I have seen demons bow their heads down to angels.
If everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, and an angel is extremely high in frequency, then how would an angel and a demon connect in the first place?
In my meditation, I received a glimpse of the angelic kingdom. Through my celestial vision, there's a heaven where angels and demons connect. If a demon no longer decides to be a servant to the darkness, a benevolent angel is assigned to help the demon ascend into the heavenly realms where he goes through a purification process. And the angel has the power to transmute a demon into light within a split of a second. And once the demon transforms into an angel, he is given divine duties. Angels are servants of the divine and have assignments. The angel knows exactly where to connect.
Does this also apply to humans with fallen angelic versus heavenly angelic coding when in relationships?
Yes, earth angels vibrate on a high frequency, connected to multiple realities. They connect with the divine beings to serve humanity. They are guided to help those in need. For example, when I made the reference to spiritual personality types and dark entities that work through people is similar to angels that transmute demons into light. We are always connected with the beloved. My vow is to unravel all blessed hearts in existence and to see the beloved as a reflection of the divine. There are chosen ones that possess unique hidden abilities. These gifts set them apart, allowing them to walk a path of purpose and insight. They have heightened intuition, a natural ability to sense truths beyond what's visible. They're blessed with a profound resilience and able to rise above challenges that would break others. They possess a deep empathy, feeling the emotions of others, and often help heal and uplift. The chosen ones have a unique spiritual discernment and are able to see illusions and recognize true intentions. They carry a powerful inner light, naturally attracting and inspiring others without even trying. These divine beings are guided to make a unique impact on the world. If you ever encounter a chosen one, consider yourself blessed. In the higher states of consciousness, your sense of self has almost entirely disappeared. You have no ego boundaries left standing, and you live in your own spiritual reality. Your connection to the rest of creation becomes harmonized. You move and everyone moves with you. You become infused with the collective. Also, you're able to communicate with all beings in one pure language. Your being is immersed in the universe and is immersed by it. You're able to channel divine power. By immersing yourself in the divine energy, your soul acts as a celestial magnet, attracting beings of light, highly evolved old souls, and divine synchronicities throughout your life.
I feel like this is a good connector to when I was talking earlier about people operating their life in their North Node. There's a saying that what's meant for you will not pass you by. And usually, the best way of knowing when you are on the right path or following your purpose, those signs come up as synchronicity. Repeating patterns like thinking or saying something and then hearing someone else say the same thing. You know, when you turn on the radio or the TV and you catch at the right second the same words. Otherwise, experiencing nostalgic moments or instances of deja vu, because our life has already been written before we signed up to be here.
The Intergalactic Cosmic Light of Ascension and Portal Reading is designed for individuals who want to gain access to their galactic cosmic connections and star race family, and by tuning into their energy field to access the level of frequency and how they channel through the ethers. What is your level of consciousness? What dimension are you vibrating at? Where did your soul originate from? What star planet system do you come from? What is your soul hybridized with? And are you a fallen angelic or an original soul with angelic coding? This reading tells you specific recommendations to get to higher dimensions and by receiving direct transmission of intergalactic high vibrational light.
This sounds like such an incredible reading to bridge the gap between yourself, your partner, and truly understanding the connection you have to your soul and intergalactic origins. So exciting.
It all starts off with a difficult childbirth. Your mother almost loses her life while giving birth to you. If this is the case, then chances are you're a generational curse breaker. A generational curse breaker is a highly evolved being who signed a contract before coming to Earth to literally shake you to awake you. They are highly evolved souls, and if they achieve a high state of consciousness, they will be liberated from birth and death and also save 7 generations back of his forefathers, even if they are any species, whether in animal life or human form.
Teresa, in our last episode, you made a mention about a new wave of children coming to the planet. What more can you tell us?
Recently, I was given another download of a new wave of children coming to the planet from the year 2027 and 2033. These are the Golden Age children. They are pure souls who have never had an incarnation on Earth. They are from the Andromeda galaxy with a galactic mind. They have ESP and telekinetic abilities. For example, these children will be able to sense danger ahead of time, even in their infancy stage. A mother will grab her car keys to run out and grab a few things. The child immediately scents danger and tries to prevent the mother from leaving the house. The child will use their telekinetic ability to literally hide the mother's keys in order to prevent her from leaving the home. And even if the mother finds the keys, that will stall some time in order to prevent a car accident or any other danger from happening.
That's amazing. I feel like a lot of these mothers won't be aware that it was their child that did that. Meanwhile, these babies are out here saving their loved ones from harm. That's beautiful.
Children and nature are the greatest teachers.
So, Teresa, you had told me something really intriguing before about how we can communicate telepathically also with our pets.
Yes, Erika, humans and cat communicate telepathically through the heart. A heart-to-heart connection is necessary when telepathically communicating with our cats. Also, it is essential to know that you must be tuned in to their mannerisms to know if your cat understands your telepathic messages. Cats can communicate telepathically more freely in the dream world because their minds become free and limitless. This state is a profound spiritual connection with pets, enhancing our bonds with them. We can also choose to astral project in their dreams or invite them into our dreams by thinking of our cats before we fall asleep. If you notice in the morning that your cat is sleeping in the bed or next to you, you can rest assured and trust your cat picked up your telepathic communication, reinforcing this beautiful spiritual connection.
Yeah, it truly is such a beautiful spiritual bond that can be formed, like you said, once we reach the point with our pet companions where we become in sync.
When a cat lifts their tail in the air as they walk by, they're telepathically communicating with us to let us know they feel proud, confident, and happy. You also have the power to display confidence and assertiveness to your cat by channeling mental images in their mind. So imagine the picture you wish your cat to see. For example, if you would like your cat to walk over to the toy, imagine your cat walking over to their toy through visualization and watch your cat start mimicking your telepathic communication.
Yes, that's a really great exercise. In a relatable experience as a dog owner, there's been a few times where you're letting them out to go pee at night or just in the yard, and having this type of bond is really helpful when you're needing to call them back to you, especially if there are other unexpected guests like raccoons passing through. I remember there was one time where my Yorkie was outside in the backyard during the day, and all of a sudden I could hear him barking so loud. And I ran to the back door just to check and see what was happening, and it looked like there was a raccoon that made its way into our yard. The raccoon was sort of cornered while he was barking at him. Instead of immediately running to my dog to pick him up or visualizing the worst outcome, I instead visualized my dog running to me back inside the house. So as soon as I called out for him, it's almost like a switch went off and he turned to look right at me and came directly inside the house and out of harm's way.
I have a cat named Bella who came through my dream state 1 year before I met her in the physical. At that time in my life, I wasn't even looking to adopt a cat, but a friend of mine traveled to Egypt to pick up a few cats and bring back home to put up for adoption. When she returned home from Egypt, she posted some pictures of cats on Facebook. I immediately recognized this is the same cat I shared a telepathic connection with. Bella and I also shared a past life in ancient Egypt together. And by the way, Bella calls me Mama. Angels and birds share a bond because they both symbolize beauty of spiritual growth. Angels are known to channel through birds. My connection with angels and birds have always been part of my life. There's been a few events where seagulls squawking and crows cawing to warn me of danger ahead. There were 2 events where birds specifically started communicating with me and were extremely helpful. I share more specific details in my book.
We're here to help each other climb the mountain of life and to uplift others. Everything comes back to ourself, how we heal, how we love, how we move around in society, emotionally, mentally, physically, and most importantly, spiritually. There's a saying that goes, the higher we are placed, the more humbly we shall walk.
Stepping into the unknown and trusting the miraculous unfolding of life is such a beautiful thing. Being fully in the present moment, taking life day by day, and embracing all of life's beauty in every breath that we take. We want to pull humanity closer together where no one falls off the edge. At the top of the mountain, the eagle sits on the peak and becomes the observer of life with a bird's eye view. In the same way, when we raise our frequency, we tend to see the bigger picture of every situation of life. The master has access to altered states of consciousness. He sits down next to the ego and becomes obsolete and voids his entire existence. Only his spirit remains. His final words, self-mastery is an inside job. In this planetary ascension into oneness, there is no light without darkness, no angels without demons, no heaven without hell, no metaphysics without physics, and no religion without spirituality. Everything is connected. We are all one.
Thank you for tuning into this episode. We really appreciate you all. Believe it or not, we are already writing episode 3.
Thank you so much for tuning in. In our next episode, we'll delve in deeper. What is a cosmic cop? The spiritual quartz, divine justice, the higher hand that helps, hybrid aliens, the angels assigned to each country, my experience through angelic and demonic portals, and a message from the Galactic Federation of Light.
But don't click away just yet. Keep listening to hear Teresa's angelic auditory transmutation to soothe your soul. Teresa will be speaking in light language and guiding you with her angelic vocals. We're taking you on a quantum journey to the heavenly realms as a transmutation to alchemize any darkness to light. You may want to close your eyes. Put on your headphones to begin. Feel free to listen to this anytime you feel you need to realign yourself. We will also have a standalone clip for you to play, available on all our platforms.
Angelic auditory transmutation. In this sacred space of alchemy, angelic celestial beings warmly welcome you. Yon Kirisimia, Iliomi, Kinisiet, Nisi Krushamia, Hitrion Umashihar. Homisia Siantion, Iriach, Noshriach. yon kirisimia, iliomi, 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 kinisie, nisi krushamia, hitrion umashihara, homisia siantion, iriak, myoshia. Kirisimia, iliomi, 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 kinisie, nisi krushamia, hitrion umashihara, homisia siantion, iriak, myoshia. Merisiandiam oliash nigeriam, ilomiam, ilomiam, iliom.